I'm Rose Hoos for Zoo TV, and this is Daniel Yeo, an international
Hi.
student from Singapore. Will you tell us a little bit about why you chose to return to Singapore instead of staying in the States?
Mhm. Well, for one thing, while I was in the States, I just graduated from APU actually. And so I applied to do something called OPT, Optional Practical Training. It's kind of like an extension of your student visa. So you're working full time, but under an education visa for a maximum of 1 year. Yeah. And so I was in the midst of doing job interviews when I got the news that the coronavirus was making its rounds and gonna hit the States pretty soon. Um, so I decided that the risk wasn't worth it, in the sense that as an international student, insurance coverages, immigration status, um, and just general quality of healthcare just wasn't it just wasn't good enough to assure myself or my parents. Yeah. So I get better insurance coverages and healthcare back in Singapore, and so I decided that the risk wasn't worth it. And yeah, that was the main reason why I decided to return to Singapore.
Will you return to the United States to finish out that year program that you were talking about?
Well, unfortunately, I am not able to, because the stipulation for it was you have a maximum of 90 days of unemployment before your status expires. And so I was already a month and a half into unemployment. So um, so I decided, and there's no way to cancel it. So it just keeps going on. Yeah, there's just no way to cancel it. And so it will expire in about a month from now, and there's no way the virus will run its course by then. So highly unlikely I will be returning on that same visa. In fact, I think it's already been canceled just because I worked it out with the school and immigration that it just wasn't worth it. Hopefully they'll allow me to do that again just because the virus was unexpected, but the chances of that are extremely low. So I don't think I will return on that visa. So the only possibility would be to return on a full-fledged work visa or a green card, who knows?
How does this affect what your future employment will look like?
Well, for one thing, it depends on how immigration views my situation right now, because typically it just leaves a bad record if you exceed your 90 days of unemployment or let the status expire, which it will in this case. But that is out of my control, so I'm not sure how lenient they'll be with it. So if that's the case, it will be harder for immigration to approve my visa in the future if I decide to take up another one.
What was the benefit of seeking a job in the field that you want to study in the United States?
Well, APU has a lot of connections to Hollywood. That's one of the main reasons why I decided to take the course, cinematic arts course at APU. And since it was in LA itself, which is really close to Hollywood, and that's like the media hub of the States, it just was like a no-brainer to work there. Especially since I plan to move back to Singapore in the long term. I wanted to bring back international connections, and so raises my that raises my value when I come back to work here. And it's just good experience overall. Dies down a bit. But a lot of the things like my car and all that, thankfully the APU community was very supportive and helped me sell my car like in an hour of posting it. But before that, I had no idea what I was going to do with it. And even the rent, I had to leave like instructions for my housemates, like send this check in by this date so that we can avoid like the move out penalties. Because I was the one doing most of the paperwork back then. To this day, my insurance still hasn't been canceled yet, because like it was a compounded, it was a buildup of many things. But like for example, their offices were closed, so I couldn't get in touch with them. And for some reason, the California branch of it does not have an online cancellation option. So you can only call in to cancel it. But since most of their offices weren't available, I had to return home immediately. But calling back will be more international call fees. So I don't know. I sent them an email and hopefully they'll get it. I took my bank card out of the system, so hopefully they'll get it and call me back. But yeah, even I tried to use like a toll-free calling network here. They still didn't pick up. So
Did you face any other difficulties with offices being closed due to the virus?
I tried to apply for a transfer of my title deed for my car, but DMVs themselves were closed. And so the guy who bought my car, it's technically the owner now, but the documents haven't gone in, which means legally it's still under my name.
Minor
And I've
details.
been, yeah, and I've been trying to get in touch with DMV and my insurance company to try and settle this, but it's taking a lot longer than expected. And I think both me and the other person are getting kind of nervous because like he applied for the insurance, but it's still technically under my name. So I don't know how it's going to work if something happens to him. So,
How is Singapore doing with the virus at the moment?
um, actually, not bad. We've we took a lot of precautions early on. We saw the warning signs early, so we managed to isolate some of the cases. But that's not to say that it doesn't spread as fast, because most of the cases were from returning students or passed around by foreign workers here. So actually, recently we've had a major spike in cases, but it's not as bad as it would be if we didn't take these precautions. It's still pretty serious, but we've managed to, we're trying to contain it the best we can. I think we're doing an okay job, but you can never be complacent with this kind of thing.
Very true.
Mm.
Daniel Yeo, thank you for joining us.
Oh, no worries.
And I'm Rose Hoos with Zoo TV. Thanks for watching.